I'm here at the Chestnut Centre in Tottenham talking to Michelle, a parent with a son who is a pupil at an academy in Hackney.
My name's Michelle Mosley and I'm the mother of a child who attends a school, and I think I've been wrongly treated as a parent. You know, I have my concerns about my child. At the end of the day, I just want my child to be educated, and just like any other child, every child has got a right to an education, and I think I've been appallingly treated by the school, and also my child's been appallingly treated, and my child's got a learning disability, and I don't feel that it's been recognised. If I say my child's got dyslexia, they think, look at it as an excuse. My child's been bullied at the school, and when you report it to the teachers, they don't do anything about it. And then I end up having to go to the police station and report in any incidents that have occurred. They're the ones who take action, they follow up, and then they put us on to victim support, and that, you know, that's been quite good. But in relation to the school, they do nothing about children who have been bullied.
Who, for example, did you report these incidents to?
Well, first of all, if I always do a video statement for my children. So what I'll do is I'll get them to write down the incident, or type it into the computer what's happened on that day, who they spoke to, what period it was, if the teacher was around. So basically I have a story, but what I do is, obviously when the children come home from school, I always ask them, oh, how was your day? So then if there's incidents occurred, I get them to do the statement straight away. And then maybe like in the morning I get them to do it again, just to see if they've been consistent, so at least 3 times before I hand in anything to the school. My next step will be I don't make phone calls to the school, I'll go in and say, this is what's happened to my child on this day, this is his statement. Is it possible to make an appointment to see the head of year or the principal or somebody? So basically I go through the list that's there, and basically I'm ready to talk to anybody who wants the lessons, anybody on that list. And then if I've spoken to, I'm just trying to think of the teacher's name, Miss Williams, Miss Joanne Williams. She's like, I've spoken to her on a few occasions, and she's always like trying to say, oh well, bullying's not happening here, and they don't deal with it, they don't follow up. And when I have to revisit her again, and she'll say, oh, Miss Mosley, or no, sorry, they always say Miss Beard. And I said, no, I'm not married to the dad, I never have been. I said, I'm Miss Mosley, you can address me properly, as I do you. She'll say, oh no, we always follow up things. And I said, no you don't, because I said, I keep a record of everything, dates and times and who I spoke to and when I spoke to them, and whether it's like a handwritten letter to the school or an email. I've got a record of everything, and whether or not a teacher has come back to me or you personally have come back to me. So, nothing is ever dealt with, it's not taken seriously, otherwise my child wouldn't be bringing up that child's name again who's been bullying them.
How did this bullying take? What form did this bullying take?
My son's been bullied in lots of different ways. He's also been bullied by staff as well. So there's been name calling because of my children's surname, the surname Bibb. So what's happened is the teachers, or like sometimes if my child has been late for school, then the teacher will say, the people in head student information, they will say, oh look, Bibby's here, and my name is Julie, short white lady with dark brown hair. She has said that she's been taking the mickey out of Cameron's surname and doesn't like it. And also they've messed up with their dinner cards as well. They've typed in the wrong number, so that means my children haven't been or my Cameron hasn't been having lunch. Also, what's happened? Yeah, teachers will give my child detention during lunch periods, so that means my child will go without food for the duration of the day. So they're entitled to have a lunch. I'm on income support. The school receive about £660 for my child, for me being on income support, and so therefore they're entitled to a discount when it comes to like school trips or any activities of the school, and also he's entitled to free school meals, but they put £1.90 on it. So if they're not giving my child lunch, then where is the money going to? Yeah, they're taking money off me, or let's just say the taxpayer, and they're not providing food for my child.
You're saying to me that as far as you're concerned, the school is not providing a safe environment for your child.
No, and I've last year I made sure they gave me a copy of his food usage for the year, for that academic year. So it shows what, when my child went for lunch and what he consumed. So what I did was run it by my son, and you can see on some days there was no food consumed, but yet my child was in. And then there was some food on there, and I know what my child eats and what he doesn't eat. So what's also been happening is other kids have been, older children in year 11, have been using my son's dinner card, and that's not allowed. Okay, and that's another reason why my child hasn't been eating, so he's been bullied in that way as well. The card's been taken off him, or if I given him additional money to put onto the card, the money's been stolen, and these boys take it off him. So I think since year 7, a particular boy in year 11 was taxing him. He says he's taxing him, and then my daughter said, "Oh, why are you taking money from my brother?" He says, "Oh, because I can." And she said, "Oh, well, I'm going to report it to my mum. I'm going to tell my mum." She goes, "Oh, you can't be grassing on me." She says, "It's not grassing if I'm telling my mum."
So, who told you this?
My daughter Claudia Bibb, because the boy was boasting, he goes, "Yeah, I've been taxing your brother since year 7.
Right. So, sorry, this term taxing, what exactly does it mean?
Basically, he's been taking money off my son. He says, "Oh, give me £1, or give me 2, or give me whatever you've got." So that's my money, yeah, he's been taking off my son, okay? And I have stressed to the school all the time that my son is being bullied. Money's been taken off him, his dinner card's been taken off him, his Oyster card, his mobile phone, and the school have done nothing. They never come back to me with anything at all.
Any specific teachers that you have spoken to in the school?
In the school, well, my son's in year 9 now, so it would have been different teachers throughout the school.
Have you spoken, for example, to the deputy principal? Have you informed her of the
Miss
situation?
Williams? Is that Joanne Williams?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've spoken to her.
You have spoken to her?
I've reported to her, she's got it in writing, and she has not dealt with the situation. I just feel like she's quite patronising, she's quite rude. "Oh, Miss Mosley, we have done it, we do." We said, "We do, follow up on things, we do." And I'm thinking, "Don't talk to me like that." I said, "No, you haven't. You're talking to me like I'm an idiot." Yeah, I said, "I keep a record of everything."
Have the school kept any records of the complaints you've made?
They probably can make wallpaper out of the complaints that I've made. But
Have
they
you seen
haven't
them?
done it. No, I haven't requested to see them. So I'm just presuming that they would have it. But even if they don't have it, I've got it. I keep everything. Any complaints I've had, whether it's handwritten, typed up, or as an email, I keep everything in there.
Have you tried to speak to the head teacher, for example?
The head teacher is Mr. Sutton? No. The head teacher would be Mr. I'm getting confused because I think you've got a head of year.
Head of year, I think you've got a head of year.
For year 9, that's Mr. Scott. I've communicated with him via email. I have spoken to him on the phone, but that was during February, March. but I haven't had any form of communication back from him.
Have you noticed a change in your son's attitude over the period of time?
What, over the 3 years that he's been attending school?
Yeah, because of the alleged bullying.
Oh yeah, I notice it. I clock onto those things straight away. I mean, like, you know, my child has shown enthusiasm when he first started out in year 7. He was leaving home early, between 7 and 10 past with his sister, going to school in excitement. And then he started like waking up late and dragging his feet, and hello, that's a wake-up call for me. Something's going on, so I question him. And what I've done with both my children is I keep a timesheet, and you know, when they leave home and when they return home, and if they're later past the time, because I know exactly how long it takes to leave the journey from school to home, and if they're not home by a certain time, I start questioning them. You know, what's happened, why were you late? Or they might say the buses, or it was raining, or there was an accident, or the teacher get them behind after school. And I said, well, the school needs to be notifying me. Yeah, because where we live is quite dangerous, and I'm concerned that you're coming home at these hours. Also, I've got a statement, Oyster card statement as well, so they can give you over the last 8 weeks. Of when, you know, what buses your child has taken. So I'll see if that tallies up with what my child is saying as well. If he says the teacher's kept me behind, but I can see, oh, my child might have got on the 144 bus and gone somewhere else. Also, you know, I've noticed my child, there's a bit of an attitude or hand gestures, and I'm thinking, no, it didn't start off that way when my child was going to school, and I've noticed that, you know, maybe some of the children are rubbing off on him, or he might be hanging with bad company. And as soon as I recognise that, I, you know, bring it to the school's attention. Any form of behaviour change with my child or children, I report it to the school. And they don't do anything. They say, oh, well, you're the parent, you should be looking after them. And I'm thinking, well, I am. And by me coming to you, I see that as a parent that's caring and, you know, looking after and looking out for my child. It's like, what are you doing as a teacher, as a school? Nothing.
Has the school ever showed you or spoken to you about the anti-bullying policy?
No.
You've never seen it?
No.
Have you asked for it? Have you asked to see it?
No, I haven't asked to see it.
Okay. You mentioned also that some other youngsters in the school spoke to you. Now I know you obviously cannot call any names, but do you want to tell us something about that?
Oh yeah, over the weekend I was at a social gathering, and I was just getting ready to go home, and I noticed somebody's bag was open and it had a GCA journal in it. So I zipped up the bag, I put it to one side, and I said, oh, does anybody here go to GCA? And they said, oh yeah,
So GCA stands for?
Greg City Academy. Yeah, and you know, one couple have said, yeah, I go there, or one said, oh yeah, I went there, and then another said, oh yeah, I've got some friends who attend the school, who are currently at the school, and they said, oh, you know, they get bullied all the time and the teachers don't do anything about it and they're scared. One boy who's currently at the school said, yeah, you know, he gets picked on as well, and, you know, doesn't find that the teachers are very good, you know, so he's not learning anything. Another boy, he's about 21, and he had a difficult time at the school as well. He said he was being bullied, or the teachers were always picking on him. And I thought, I'm not going to lead this conversation. Let these kids mention the teachers' names who's been giving problems. And one boy said, oh yeah, Miss Aragba. And I'm thinking, yeah, she seems like a trouble. I think she's rude to me as a mother.
Sorry, I didn't quite know her name.
Her name is Mrs. Maureen Aragba. And I can't remember what subject she teaches. And what she has done is, I remember one time, well, it would have been 6 or 8 months ago, she called me up and she said, this is 1:45 in the afternoon. She says, oh, Mrs. Bibb. And I said, it's not Mrs. Bibb, it's Miss Mosley. Oh, then she started calling me Mum. And I'm thinking, why is she calling me Mum for? Okay, Mum. And this was getting my back up. And then she's saying, oh, I've got Cameron here with me. And I'm thinking, it's 1:45, what's she doing with Cameron? Because between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock is lunchtime. So she says, yes, because I was saying, oh, Cameron's got lunch. She said, oh, I've got him here for detention. I said, well, Cameron should be eating food. She goes, oh, well, I've given him water. I'm not inhumane. And I'm thinking, oh, that's nice of you giving him water. I said, Cameron should be consuming food. It's lunchtime, it's 1:45, yeah? You cannot, you're then going to make it difficult for the next teacher because they're going to say he's disruptive. Well, because he hasn't had any food in his stomach, okay? And that means he hasn't eaten since breakfast time. She kept on justifying reasons why she had Cameron because he hasn't done his homework. I said, well, keep him behind after school. Call me up and say, Miss Mosley, Cameron has not done his homework. I'm quite concerned. Can we meet and talk about it? But you don't keep him behind during lunchtime. He's entitled to food. Detention after school by all means, and sit with him and do his work. Ask him why he hasn't done his homework. Don't punish him by just letting him sit down and do nothing. Don't punish him during lunchtime when he should be eating.
But these youngsters, do you want to tell me a little bit more about what they actually said and about the experiences that they had whilst at Greg Academy?
Yeah, right, okay. With those youngsters, what they were saying was, obviously, one said, he's got friends there, they don't like it there, they keep getting bullied all the time, like staff don't do anything. Another one said, yeah, he didn't like selected teachers, they weren't teachers, they kept on picking on him all the time, always giving him detention. But one thing that stood out, and another boy popped his head out and said, oh yeah, remember what happened yesterday? And they said, yeah, some boy come down to the school with a samurai sword and tried to chop off some boy's head. And I'm thinking, whoa, I said, that school doesn't, that doesn't surprise me because there's been a lot of incidents at that school when people have come from the outside into the school looking for maybe a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old boy, and there might be gangs of them, and then the school have gone under lockdown. So my children have been late home, but then the staff haven't said anything, the school haven't said anything, they don't tell us as parents. They don't tell us, look, this occurred at school, or they don't punish any boys that been doing drugs or whatever at school. They don't punish them, and the kids are running scared. They go to school to learn, not to get involved in criminal activity. But the teacher. Another thing I'm going to stress is the school never report it to the police. Also. Girls have been assaulted on activities. They have activity week, I think, the last couple of weeks in July. And a few years ago, my daughter, she didn't want to go, she was supposed to go to Germany, but her father wouldn't give any maintenance money, so she couldn't go. And I said, oh, Claudia, why don't you just go on another activity? Oh no, Mum, if I go on them, the boys will attack me. And I'm thinking, well, that's not good. Have you mentioned to the school, oh yeah, but they don't care, Mum. Yeah, and other girls have got attacked. Yeah, so my daughter's just said that to me. Girls have got attacked on these trips where there's a lot of boys. And, I've also heard that a girl was assaulted by some boys on a activities week last July, and that was not reported to the police. And I spoke to a friend in the last 7 days, just speaking, openly about Greg City Academy School, and she said, oh yeah, she's got a friend, she's now 21, she was raped at the school by some boys, and she reported it to the school, she reported it to the police, and they did nothing about it. They basically said, oh, the girl was asking for it, so she just didn't pursue it anymore. So this seems like a regular occurrence where girls are getting assaulted and it's getting brushed under the carpet.
Would you be able to contact these girls and ask them if they would like to make a statement on camera?
I don't think they will, because I did speak to my friend at the same time that I was talking. I said, do you think she'd be willing to speak out about it? She said, oh, I don't think so. She said, I think she's just got married now. Yeah, she's scared. She's just left it now. She seems it's pointless, and she's had a child now, and she's just trying to move on with her life. So I wouldn't want to push for that, but I'd like to put it out somewhere, like be the voice for these girls to say, look, come forward and talk about it. If you can get enough of these girls from that school who've been sexually assaulted, raped, or whatever's occurred, where they've reported, you know, when they felt totally uncomfortable, they've reported it to the teacher, and then, you know, see how it's been dealt with. They might have even reported it to their parents, yeah, and then that child might be acting out. So,
Right.
you know, somebody needs to be a voice for these girls. These girls need to be able to find, you know, a contact centre or something to go and talk to somebody, but you know, it needs to go out.
I'm very concerned about the fact that the victims claim that they made a statement to the police, who in turn did nothing about it.
Yeah. Well, what can we say about that? You know, a lot of the times where you do report things to the police, you know, they either tell you you're cuckoo, you're imagining things, and you know, you think sometimes you don't have the strength to fight, because if you go to the police, you think, well, how higher can I go? If you've gone to the police or you've gone through the courts and nobody's been on your side and you've been a victim of a crime, you know, what avenue do you go down? You know, when you've been a victim of a crime and then there's nowhere to go, there's all these authorities out there and there's nowhere for you to go, what choice? You're going to either kill yourself, you're going to, you know, sit at home and feel sorry for yourself, or you just get on with life. What can you do?
At any point during these proceedings, did you have any contact with the police?
In regards to...
In regards to any of the statements you've made, or any of the statements the other victims have made, they say the police has actually contacted them?
I don't think so. No, I can't recall them saying that the police have contacted them. Especially with me, I think only with one incident the police have come back to me when my son was assaulted by a group of, when he was in year 7, and he was assaulted by at least 6 or 8 year 11 boys. And I knew I'm not going to report this to the school because there's no point, they're not going to do anything about it. So I just went straight to the police about it. Reported, I got a statement from my son first. And obviously, like at least 3 times, I got him to repeat himself so we could see if he was consistent with his story. And then I would, then I reported it to the police, and then they, you know, basically I have to get the name of that child, and I've asked my daughter, I said, look, Cameron has said this boy's in your year, what is this boy's name, give me a description, and then I want to get as much information as possible to go to the police with. I've contacted the police, and then they've got back to me, then they've interviewed my child, then they've come down to the school and collected them. But I said, if you could not come outside the school gate because it's going to look a bit bad on the children. So they've parked, you know, way down the road, and they've called me up and they said, oh look, Miss Mosley, we're just parked outside here. So then I've picked up my children, we've gone in the van and we've gone to a secure place so my son can do a video statement. And then the child has been arrested, the boy involved, then the police, and this is what concerns me now. Everything was going nice with that, and then the officer, I think her name was Sergeant Oros, O-R-R-O-S, and I think it's Helen Oros, yeah, and she said, oh, I went to, you know, the perpetrator's house, and his house is really nice and the family are really nice, and look, you know, basically like he's coming from a good table. And I think, well, what's that got to do with anything, whether somebody's house is nice or not? And I spoke to the parents and they're really nice and they've got good jobs, and they're just quite shocked, and they're saying, oh, that, you know, my child is a good boy and he's got into bad company and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, well, what's that got to do with me? That boy's assaulted my son, him and a gang of friends have assaulted my son. My son ended up losing his mobile phone in this altercation as well. And I'm thinking, it seems like the police are more concerned with the perpetrator than with the victim. So that, I found that conversation quite disturbing. And then my child's been put onto victim support. The police have kept me clued in. They've said that, the boy has been to, like, not a remand centre, I don't know where they go when they've been bad. They take them somewhere to, you know, think over all the bad things that they've done. But then it's ended like that. I don't know if they've done anything more, and the school haven't done anything. They've never asked, oh, Cameron, are you all right? You know, they've never shown any concern when my child has been bullied. Yeah, they never show any concern at all. They don't care. They always just say, "Oh, we can't." You know, when the police have approached, we always say, "Oh, I don't understand why she's gone to the police for. You know, she could have come to us. What's the point?" It's like walking into a brick wall.
What police station was it?
Tottenham.
Tottenham Police.
Tottenham Police Station. Yeah.
What year was it?
Where are we? 2015, 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you like to see happening?
I would like to see boys or children who are bad to be punished. Okay, they need to be spoken to. They need to write a letter of apology to the child. There should be some sort of mediation or somewhere where me and the parents and the children can sit down and talk together. Yeah, and have it all out in the open.
You're saying that is not happening now?
It's never happened. They don't like to tell the parents, you know, if that child has been bad, because I think they're probably scared. I've had that issue with my children being bullied at primary school, where you tell the teachers and they don't do anything. If you approach your parents, it's like, "Oh no, not my child's not bullied." You know, it's like it doesn't happen. At secondary school, that was the only incident where I know that the police have approached the child and they've approached the parents. But there's been any other altercation in that school. They've never contacted the parents at all, and the school never come back to me with anything.
What I would like you to do is to try to get in contact with as many parents as you can. You know, you feel that strongly about it. Get as many parents as you can. I wouldn't mind you coming back up here and interviewing the whole thing. I would speak to people, you know, within the education authority, and also senior members from the Met, because I'm very, very concerned that these incidences which reflect criminal activities has not been reported to the police, and if they have, the police have taken no action to the satisfaction of either the victim or the parents, and that really, really concerns me.
But it's the drug dealing in that school. I've always been aware of that since 2009 when my daughter has, she mentioned it to me. She goes, "Oh Mum, they were smoking in the toilet, or they're rolling up something and smoking it, and drugs are being dealt, and there's certain gangs." And she's scared to speak to I said, "Talk to the teachers." "Oh, she's scared to do it in case of repercussion," because she speaks to me and she knows Mum's got a big mouth. Yeah, and that's why she knows I will go to the school and say something, because I've mentioned to the school since 2009 that, well, there's drug dealing going on in here, and they, you know, obviously they've never gone to the police about it, maybe because the school will get shut down, you know. But most definitely, and the bigger boys are getting the younger children to deal drugs. So, and you know, you can also see, you know, that'll be a wake up call. That can be, you know, you can see a child's behaviour change because of things like that. If the kid, you know, like for instance, my boy, he's had his phone taken off him, gets frustrated about that. He's had his Oyster card. He's on his 11th Oyster card now. He had 7 in year 7 because boys keep stealing his Oyster card. Okay, and also his dinner card's been stolen, his cash has been stolen. You report all these things to the school, they do nothing. Absolutely nothing about it. And then I've noticed my child has lost a lot of weight as well, because his weight was checked before crossover to secondary school, at the beginning of secondary school, and then you can see how skinny he's got. We've had the school nurse come in and she could see how much weight he had lost as well, so I've got that on record as well. You know, because my child is used to having 3 meals a day. So he has been, you know, his whole life has been affected at school and his education. He's not getting the education he deserves. He's supposed to have, he's been recognised as having dyslexia. That was in June 2012 by an educational psychologist. This was when he was at primary school. I thought that would be easy for him to get a statement, but it seems like it's very difficult to get to a statement. I went to a tribunal on the 13th of February 2013. Couldn't get a statement for him. And you know, I always question him and say, "Oh, do you have a dyslexia-friendly classroom?" He says, "Oh, Mum, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, well, you're supposed to have like a work buddy with you, and you're supposed to have the teacher, and you're supposed to put things in a context where you can understand and make, you know, simplify things for you." He goes, "Mum, no, none of that goes on."
Is he not getting any support at all at the school?
No support.
And he has an official document that says he is dyslexic.
Yeah. But they will not give him a statement. When I went to court, I just felt, it was an attack on me in court. And I'm thinking, this court case is about my son. This is why I brought my son, so you can see for yourself. Yeah, watch him for yourself.
Have they given you any reason why they have not given him the level of support
They've
that
said,
really is entitled to?
no, they reckon that they are giving it. And the report back from the courts was he got a note in lieu, whatever that means. So, the school reckon that they're providing enough help for him there. He does not need a statement. I think this is all down to money. But they're not looking after him anyway, because they wouldn't be ringing up with so many complaints about him. Oh, your child's disruptive, blah, blah, blah. Or when he, at parents' evening, they'll say, oh, your child, he might be a little bit untidy when he comes to school, or, his shirt's hanging out, or they'll list all these problems. And I'm thinking, well, this is a sign that he's got dyslexia. As soon as you tell any teacher he's got dyslexia, oh, it's an excuse. Oh, yeah, but no, but whatever. But you can do this, you can do that. And I'm thinking, it's not an excuse. It's a learning disability, and it affects everything. It's not a dummy disease. Yeah? And part of how you're dressing and all that's got, your punctuality, your forgetfulness, all that's got a big part to play. That's all part of having dyslexia.
Thank you very much.